Hello guys, the Digital Deity back again for more positions and callouts, this time on the map DE Train. As far as I know, at the time of this video's release, there are no callout videos for DE Train, at least for CSGO, so I'm going to go over the calls first. I'll just do a quick flyby for those who don't care about the positions you can play, and then after the calls are done, I'll do an in-depth look at the positions and the lines of sight you can get. So, starting with the calls, CT spawn, CT stairs, out here we have inside, and this is outside. A site is outside. B site is inside. This is blue. This is red. Connecting inside and outside is Z. This is inside Z. This is outside Z. This is wall B. This is big ramp leading up to upper B. And this is small ramp. This is pop dog. This is the B train. This is the B ladder leading back up to upper B. And this is still upper B. White stairs, white walls, above ladder room, lockers, showers, lounge. There are the white walls going down T stairs into T spawn. This is L, leads outside. This is the side yard. These are the side stairs. This is the big dumpster. This is the side dumpster. This is dark. This is fence. This is ivy. This is hell. This is heaven. This spot here along this rail is just called rail. Down here we have cubby and cubby roof. This is alternate heaven, or shortened down to alt heaven. This is the ladder room down here. This is yellow, because it used to be yellow in source. It was a yellow engine. And now it's just a green car, but it's still called yellow, or ladder room train. This is pink, or L connector train. Back here we have the tunnels. This is A3, A2, and A1, so anything along A1, you can say inside of A1, and they'll be playing back here. The middle of A1, and they'll be playing around here, and the top of A1, where they're up here. Same thing with A2, top of A2, middle A2, in A2, in A3, this is the middle of A3, and this is the top of A3. This is the E box, this is yogurt, this is quad, and I think that wraps it up, so I'm going to get in depth about all the positions that you can play at all of these callouts. Moving on to all the positions that you can play inside of all those callouts. This is inside of CT spawn. You can play behind these sandbags here and watch a push from B or from the tunnels. An interesting note about CT spawn is that all of these shutters here are wall bangable, meaning you can shoot through them. It goes both ways. Here at big ramp, sometimes you'll have a player playing here. Just your head sticks up, and you can get a full line of sight straight into the back of upper B, back here, and they really can't see your head sticking up, but you'll be able to see them easily, so that's a common position for an AWPer to take, right along the top of this ramp here. Oops. So a lot of Ts will just smoke this off as their default when taking B, so you'll get smoked out pretty easily if you play here. Up against wall B is where you can rotate to if you have an AWP. You can play here, peeking around the edge of red, and get some sight on the bomb site. Inside of Z, you can peek here and watch the small ramp. You can play on top of red. It's not recommended. You can play on top of blue, also not recommended. You can play here in the side, but honestly, this is the worst position that you could possibly have. Because you have no line of sight and you're just trapped there. And by the way, you can see your feet directly under the train. You can't with red because there's an elevation right here. So you'll be safe if you're playing here. This is called pop dog. This is, in my opinion, the best position in the map because you can see straight up here, up the ramp, and you can just see a little tiny sliver up against the floor of where their feet pass, and they can't really jump over it. They can stack a player like right here. They can have one crouch and then get on top of their teammate's head and then jump across, and then your feet won't be seen. But this position is really strong because no one will be getting into B without you knowing it. So, just for example, you can smoke that off and then start watching upper while teammate rotates and watches this. In upper B, there's really only one position that you'll be playing. This is why it's all called upper B. This whole corridor is upper B, and this whole corridor is upper B, but there's really no positions here that you can play along upper B on this side. You can peek around this corner, watching the big ramp, or around these boilers. Sometimes, I've actually seen multiple times, this little ambush spot get used by players where they just sit on the B ladder and wait for players to hop down, and they don't notice him standing here, I guess, on the ladder, and then he just pops out and he's like, "Ah, bang!" On A train, you can play in between the two silos here, because if they come down B ramp, they're probably going to push right out along this little corridor here, and you can watch that. This is a good spot to watch if you're a T and you've planted the bomb here. You can play here and see all the way back here, or along this platform here. Also, this dumpster is an applicable spot, I guess, but if you play here, you get cover against the guys in upper, but you're going to have your back exposed, and same with the other side. But I'm just showing you positions. No one said they had to be good positions. These are just positions. Here at the stairs, you can peek into upper B, or peek the white stairs. Here at the top of ladder, you can just look down the ladder. An interesting note is that along this yellow and black caution line, you can wallbang straight through it. So if there's a player playing there and they can't see you, you can just shoot them pretty easily. Or if someone is coming up the ladder, you can pre-fire them like that and start spraying them down before they even pop their heads up. Here in the white halls, there's actually a position here where you can play that gives you kind of a line of sight straight into the back of upper B. No one really plays in lockers or showers. To a beginning player, these showers might seem like a pretty good spot to hide and try and save your weapon while the time runs out. It's really not, because you can just wallbang straight through all of them. So no matter where you're sitting, whichever one you're sitting in, if you get sprayed here, you're going to get sprayed down. Here at the lounge, you can camp on top of this microwave here and watch over the vending machine for a push. I highly doubt any CTs will do that unless they really want to lose. Here at the lounge, watching for a push, no one really checks up here. Like if CTs come through your spawn and they are running up here, they don't really look up there. They just try and make their way up these stairs, and that's a good spot to watch for a push from behind. This little cubby hole here, you can wait for a push. Inside of T-spawn is a really good place to save, if you can make it all the way back here. Not up against that dumpster, but like up against this truck here, and watching this. That's a good place to play and save. Back here in the back of dumpster, some people like to play this position and watch for a push. This is a popular position to watch for a push because most of the time when CTs are pushing and they're coming out here, they're like, I gotta check this spot, and they're not looking up there. Here at the side stairs, you can stand here and get line of sight down to the Ivy side, or peek from this little door frame here. Obviously the side dumpster was made for saving your weapon. You can hide back here. Along down the side yard again, you have dark, where you can wait for a push and get an ambush on anyone. Here's the fence. You can get a teammate to stack you up there, like you can stand on their head and boost up to the top of fence and you can actually stand on the fence. I can't with no clip. This is the behind the fence. You can get line of sight into the IV position. Into Ivy, you can play behind these sandbags. Or, for the CT side, you can play behind the sandbags, but if you're a T, watch out for standing anywhere around here, because this wall here is wall bangable. You can shoot right through it. This is a relatively bad position to get yourself in. You may think you're kind of safe here, but you won't even see a CT if he starts coming around this corner here, and he can pre-fire you. This edge of the wall is wall bangable. This isn't, but you can start to pre-fire, and you won't even see the CT coming. Here at the back of A3, inside of A3, you can stand on top of this mechanical box, I guess, and you can get line of sight straight down to L. Here in L, you can actually, if you stand back here, you can get line of sight. Oh man, I need an AWP. I'll be right back with an AWP. I'm back with an AWP, so you can actually see a little tiny sliver along here. You can see kind of behind the pink, as well as from L you can also see under this pink car. That's Z, but be aware that you can be clearly seen from behind the dumpster, and you'll probably get shot first. I'm just going to keep the AWP for that zoom function. Where haven't I covered? I forgot. But yeah, I was covering A3. Play behind these sandbags. Play here behind this tanker thing in the middle of A3. Some players like to play here in Hell and just wait for a push here. You can obviously play on top of any of these trains. I won't show you any of those positions. Here in Heaven, you can watch practically anything. You can see straight to A1 or Z or the ladder room. A good position to note here in Heaven is you can jump on top of this box, and most players like to plant there for A site. They plant on that edge of the train lip there, and you can't really see it from here without getting shot from the open. So jump on top of this and you can get line of sight. This is rail. Some cheap players think this is a pretty good spot to play because no one really checks it, but you have line of sight to Z and kind of into the site. They play here trying to get an ambush on anyone pushing through Ivy. On to A2, this is quad. You can play back here. You can also play here. Of course, if you have an AWP, you can always just play the back of A3 and get the same position, line of sight. Some players play in the between the oil tanker and the pink, just trying to peek the L and not letting their feet be seen, because if you're playing inside of L, you can actually see their feet. So some players play up here. This position, I forgot to go over with it, but this position is called radioactive. You can just kind of peek along here and wait for a push from L. The people pushing never really check here. They're always checking other positions. This is called yogurt, I guess because it kind of looks like a yogurt cup with a little lid on it. Some players play here because specifically because it's not wall bangable, like the edges are. I failed there. The edges are if you have a powerful enough weapon, and maybe the middle is if you have an AWP. No, the middle is not if you have an AWP, even with all that penetration. However, the E-box, some people will say, oh, this is good cover, I'm going to use this. But not only are your feet completely exposed here, but you can actually shoot straight through. It's kind of made of paper. Not a lot of people play at this yogurt cup, so it doesn't have a call, because it doesn't really offer much line of sight. here in Cubby, not many people play at the bottom of Cubby, but they'll get on top of the roof, and they'll have line of sight to, like, heaven or there, and they can watch a push down there. In Alt Heaven, you can play behind either one of these air conditioning units. Back in Source, you used to be able to play on top of one of the trains in the tunnel, but that aspect of the game has been removed. You also can't play under any of the trains in this map, so just getting that out there. Back of A1, you can watch a push from, say, ladder. That's the ladder room down there. CT stairs, a lot of players, if they know a push is coming from CT spawn, they'll play up here, because the players are going to be too busy watching the Ivy side to notice that there's a player standing up there. So it's kind of an ambush position. Inside of Ivy, outside of Z, I mean. I called this Ivy. Why did I call this Ivy? This is outside of Z. You can a lot of players play here simply because they can get that position on their feet as they push out of L. That's L right there that I'm looking at. You can see it. Some players like to play here and just peek out. It's not recommended. And I think I just covered everything. Oh wait, no, ladder. You can play ladder room from here, peeking here. Ladder room from here, or you can play inside. Something not to do when you're playing ladder is smoke it off. Don't smoke it off, because you'd think this would make a good ambush spot as they're pushing out of the smoke and they're like, "Ugh!" You'll see them before they see you. But the most important thing to watch for when you're playing ladder that close up is something like a flash, like that. Ah! Something like that, and that will pop inside of the smoke, and you'll be fully flashed, and they can just come out here, and you won't see the flash coming, so you can't look away if you smoke. So don't smoke it. If you really want to play inside here, the best place to watch it is from out here, as long as you have someone covering L, because from L, you can actually see a player's feet. Also, another thing to keep in mind when you're coming down the ladder as a T rushing, you don't want to just come down the ladder and be like, "Ugh!" You want to come halfway down the ladder and then just press space to jump. And that will push you away from the ladder and you'll land in this corner here. So anyone playing, say, this position won't see you. And anyone playing this position, you can actually see their feet from under the yellow train. They won't see you either. So make it a habit when you're coming down this ladder just to press space and get off of it into this corner. There are a whole bunch of lines of sight that involve like looking under trains that I might have missed, but I think I just got everything. So yeah, that's it. And that wraps up a lot of the positions you can play. That took a really long time because there are so many, and I'm sure I missed many lines of sight that just completely went over my head because this is entirely unscripted, and I'm sure I said and didn't know what to say for a while there, so I'm sure it was really boring. I mean, entertaining. You loved this video, right? Fans? 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 Fan? Oh. I'm the only one here.